This is music, and these are some great title tracks and some not so great title tracks. The Mighty Metal Mickey started a very cool thread not too long ago. 10 great title tracks and 5 not so great title tracks. And that has generated a lot of really interesting videos from the metal part of the vinyl community. And I figured, you know what, I would like to contribute to that. So here's my contribution to the thread. I wanted to originally do like 10 great title tracks and then 10 honorable mentions, but then why not just go with 15 great title tracks? So let's just get to it. And I went all vinyl here. Accuser, Double Talk, a great thrash metal track, great riffage, impressively precise picking, and I really like the drums, how they sort of go back and forth between up-tempo aggressive thrash metal drumming and, you know, like mid-tempo groovy drumming. It's a great album too. By Inheritance, by Artillery. Kind of a similar story, some great guitar riffage. I really love the vocals. They're absolutely sick. I love Flemming Røndorf's vocals on this album. This is a thrash metal masterpiece. And the drums also are very dynamic. You know, it's changing between mid-tempo, heavy kind of stuff and up-tempo thrash metal drumming. So an absolutely fantastic title track from a fantastic album. The next one, The Battle at Helm's Deep by Attacker. More traditional heavy metal, I would say. It's slightly epic, maybe because of the lyrical content, which I think is inspired by Lord of the Rings. There's some pretty cool kind of changes and shifts going on as well in this title track. And it's a great album overall too. So I don't know if it counts as an obscure album, but if you can get your hands on a fairly priced copy and you like traditional metal, I would recommend it. The next one might be a bit out of left field. Grin by Coroner. Not my favorite Coroner album at all. It's not bad. It just doesn't appeal to me that much because they decided to go in a more sort of 90s groove and industrial metal direction. But the title track, which is really called Grin Nails Hurt, I think that's actually a very good song where they sort of put the groove and the industrial kind of elements to use in a way that actually appeals quite a lot to me. It reminds me a bit of Cleanse era prong, which I really like. So yeah, just in my optics, of course, not the greatest Corner album. I really prefer their previous ones, but a pretty cool title track nonetheless. The next one, Keeper of the Seven Keys, from Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2 by Halloween. Just a fantastic epic power metal music journey. Well composed. Michael Kiske sounds amazing. He does that. He actually still sounds amazing. Some great guitar melodies, some great vocal melodies, an epic sort of lyrical theme, and I even used this song in my teaching. So I taught German power metal at university, and how cool is that? The next one is also a very great song from an absolutely fantastic album, Excursion Demise by Invocator. This is a frantic, mind-boggling, fast, aggressive, technical thrash metal album. And so is the title track, Excursion Demise. It starts out with a kind of dark, ominous introduction, and then it just kicks into a mind-boggling, baffling, technical thrash metal song with fast parts and mid-tempo parts and parts that are strangely groovy. Some frantic, chaotic guitar solos by Jakob Schultz. Just a great album overall, and a great thrash metal title track. Up next, we have two great title tracks by the same artist, Iron Maiden, my favorite band, so I allowed myself to do that. Killer from Killers. A very intense title track with dark and scary lyrics. You have your galloping Iron Maiden guitars, but you also have fretboard noise, which they don't usually use in this band. So that, and the fretboard noise really adds some intensity to the song. It's catchy, it's up tempo, it's a great song, and I feel like this is an album overall that gets a bit overlooked. Maybe because it's sandwiched between Number of the Beast and the debut, but it's actually a great heavy metal album and a great title track. The next one might be out of left field too, but the title track from No Prayer for the Dying, another album that I feel is maybe a bit overlooked, and this is a ballad. And normally I hate ballads, but as I've said in a number of videos, when a ballad is put together in a way that I think is good, then I really love that ballad, and that applies to this one here. I really just like love the melancholic feel to this ballad, how the lyrics are introspective, which Iron Maiden's lyrics usually aren't, right? I really love the guitar melody that this entire song sort of evolves around. So I think it's actually a great, brave title track. It's a ballad. Up next, Breaking Out from Lion's Pride, just a fun traditional heavy metal song with some great inherently melodic riffage, and they play around with harmonies in the riffage as well, and some pretty cool vocals too, quite gruff but also kind of emotional. And this is overall, it's a very fun heavy metal album. Some of the songs are kind of dumb, but the title track is actually great. And Justice for All by Metallica. I really like the drumming here, especially the kind of weird thing he does with the toms, and then you have the guitar kind of being imposed on top of that, and it works great. It's kind of like strangely groovy, and it's mostly a mid-tempo track. James Hetfield sounds great on this track and this entire album. He sounds like somebody who's kind of boiling with inner anger at something. So just a great mid-tempo title track on another, I would say, thrash metal masterpiece of an album. The End Complete death metal masterpiece. I really like how heavy this track is. I like the drums. They just sound big. The guitar sounds muddy, which is good when we're talking Obituary. That's the signature sound. It's heavy. The riffs punch you in the face. And when they do sort of go up tempo, that just works brilliantly too. John Tardy sounds amazing. Great death metal vocalist. Maybe one of the greatest death metal vocalists. Certainly one of the most unique ones. The End Complete, a fantastic death metal album, a fantastic title track. Up next, Port Royal by Running Wild. Fun. If you include the introduction, that's fun. Then the title track kicks in. It builds on some pretty great riffage, I think, and it's just a fun song. And I really like the chorus. That's a great sing-along chorus, I would say. So a great, fun pirate metal song. What more can you ask for from life? Up next, The American Way by Sacred Reich. This is an interesting title track because it's very repetitive and it's mostly mid-tempo, but the repetitiveness is what I like about it. And the guitar solo. All the guitar solos are great on this. And I also like how Phil Rind, the vocalist, his vocal delivery sounds like somebody who's just deeply disappointed with everything. That's what it's, somebody who's angrily disappointed. So I think it's a great title track. Repetitive, but that's what works for me. Up next, Target Earth from Target Earth by Screamer. This is more melodic. We're back back to the world of kind of like progressively oriented, melodic, kind of traditional / power metal. The vocals are soaring. It reminds me a bit of Lethal, actually. And I really like the guitar work. It's very melodic, and you have some pretty cool changes and shifts as well in this song. It's a great album. If you can get your hands on it and you like progressive metal or power metal, and if you like Lethal, pick it up. And the last great title track here is For Whose Advantage by Eccentrics. I like the bass opening, just a melodic, kind of melancholic bass opening, and then it kicks into a, I would say, somewhat melodic thrash metal song as well, with some great, also impressively precise picking. This is a thrash metal masterpiece, and a great title track as well. And just like Sacred Reich, we're dealing with more politically oriented thrash metal too. So these were 15 great title tracks. It's not my top 15, and I'm not saying that there are not other great title tracks out there. In fact, I did not include my favorite title track, just so you know, on this list. Let's turn to the 5 not so good ones. I really had to struggle to find these, and some of them are cheats and cop-outs. But the first one I genuinely do think is not great. It's really called Nightmare in Queens. It's the closest thing to a title track on Guitar Pete's Axe Attack's Nightmare. And this is a pretty fun heavy metal album with some speed and thrash metal influences, I would say. But the title track, Nightmare in Queens, just falls flat, I think. It doesn't catch me or grip me, and it's not fun like some of the other songs are. It's a bit of a shame, but it's a great album nonetheless. The next one, Sexy Night by Junko Mihara. This is a rock album. It has some hard rock songs, some soft rock songs on it. It has some non-rock songs as well. It has some genuinely good songs and some genuinely bad songs. And then some songs that are kind of so bad they're good. And that's what applies to the title track, Sexy Night, which is super cheesy. But I actually enjoy it because it's so cheesy. So yeah, a bit of a cheat. But it's the best thing I can do here. I mean, it's not a masterpiece of an album, but it's fun. But the title track, you know, a bit too cheesy maybe. And the same thing applies to this one, and might not even count as a title track. The album is called We Deserve the Right, and the track is called Deserve the Right to Rock, I think. It's super cheesy, and that applies to the entire album. But it's still kind of fun and enjoyable. Just watch the video. I think it's on YouTube. And you go, yeah, you'll probably go, yeah, that's cheesy, but it's kind of fun. And that, so I don't dislike this song. I actually enjoy it for being cheesy. And the two Petrucci sisters, great musicians, especially Maxine Petrucci, actually an excellent guitarist. So it's actually not bad. It's just very, very cheesy. I still enjoy it though, so a bit of a cheat. The next one is a complete cheat. Spectrum of Death by Morbid Saint. This is a fantastic thrash metal album. Death thrash, probably. But they picked a short instrumental interlude as the title track. Just a short, just one guitar. And it's a nice little interlude, actually, to sort of give you a breather before you get your ass kicked again by the next death thrash song. It's just, and I don't even dislike it. It's just kind of like, why pick that one as the title track? I don't know. It's kind of brave in a way. So it's a complete cheat. I actually love this album. So far, one genuinely bad, in my opinion, title track, and then 3 that I enjoy. And then finishing off on one that I also think is genuinely bad. I actually like this album. It's a fun hard rock album. Rock Blooded by Rated X. But they picked the most boring song. The only boring song, actually, as the title track. It's just a song that drags along. It's not catchy to me. It's at a tempo which is not slow enough to be heavy, but it's too slow to be fun. In my opinion. So it's just a boring song. I don't know why they picked that song as the title track. It's the first song on the album, so maybe they just went with that. But then again, you can ask, why have the most boring song as the first song on the album? But then again, it's just me who thinks it's boring. Maybe everybody else loves it, right? But yeah, I think it's a bit of a shame that they picked, from my perspective, a song that is actually quite boring as the title track of an otherwise pretty fun hard rock album. So yeah, there you go. 15 great title tracks, 5 not so great ones, 3 of which I kind of still enjoy. what you're gonna do. So that's my contribution to the thread. Some great title tracks and some title tracks that are not super great. Thanks for watching.